皆さん、お稽古お疲れ様です and welcome back to Beyond Dojo. Yes, guys, I am again about 30 minutes before the Saturday online class, my Saturday online class. This week is not just my online classes, but also Seki Sensei and also Tsukara Sensei, Kurosawa Sensei's online lessons. We are holding the online Embu performances. This is a 2 times a year event, and basically, in the past, what it was having the senseis watch the students perform whichever katas they want to do, kind of thing. But now, from this time, what I thought would be really cool to do is actually connecting the Zoom call that we always do to hold the lessons, connected to YouTube so we can live broadcast the Embu. Yeah. So I thought of this idea on, I've been talking a little bit about this to you guys before. I think so. I have. I think I have. Yeah. When I actually took part in an actual Embu this year, during the Kyoto Golden Week season, I went to the Shimogamo Shrine and also the Shiramine Jingu Shrine and did the Hono Embu for the first time, right, in my life. And because of that experience, having dozens and dozens of people watching us during the Embu, and we're on a slightly higher stage, and people watching and doing the Embu in such an environment, different situation than usual. I wasn't that nervous, to be honest, because when it comes to Budo, it's really all about your partner, your training partner, and you. So I usually am completely focused on what I'm doing right now, and I don't really mind about what other people would think of me, to be honest. But at the same time, though, of course, it was a really good, opportunity for me to see how my techniques would be like under such an environment, and especially because, as I talked to you guys about this before, but the floor was really slippery, and doing there really made me find out that my footwork is actually not very well yet, because just a little bit of difference in environment, I couldn't do the techniques like I usually could, So that's, a few things I found out about myself. But because of such an experience, I thought it would be so cool if our online lesson members can experience something similar to that, basically having random people that you don't know having you do the Embu demonstrations and having some people watch you. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing this time. We actually already did one class. The Friday Tsukara Sensei, Kurosawa Sensei's online lessons, we already held the online Embu on Let's Ask Sensei. And this weekend, right after this too, of course, on my channel, the Budo Baka, and also on Seki Sensei's channel, Let's Ask Sensei, on Saturday and Sunday. My class Saturday, Monday, will be holding the online Embu performances. However, to be honest, though, my class has only been, about half a year since we started. A little bit more than that, actually, but approximately about half a year, So many of the members who are taking part in my online lessons have not really had a lot of chances to practice the katas yet. We have only been doing the muhiryu, for example, seated EI techniques for like the past few months, I think. So many of the members have not even trained in all of them. So only 2 members will be participating today, and no one has signed up for Monday. Yeah, but it's inevitable though. It's totally fine. If no one signs up for Monday, it's okay. I'll just hold the class like I usually would, and that's how I'll be running the class. So, but it's really exciting, and there are 5 people who took part in the Embu on Friday's online lesson. They said it was a really good experience, and many of the members are actually taking part in the Saturday and Sunday online lessons too in the Embu there as well. So I really hope it'd be a good opportunity for everyone to get to know yourself more. In a different situation, different environment, you get to find a new side of yourself. So I really hope it'll be a good opportunity for that. Okay. And yeah, so if you take part in our online lessons, of course, it's not mandatory. If you don't want to sign up, you don't have to sign up at all, but you do have an opportunity to be on our YouTube channels and show your progress to people and kind of show how you've been training under Seki Sensei kind of thing. So yeah, if you're interested, it'd be great if you can check out our online lessons. Okay. And the in-person training recently, the Kyoto branch training, by the way, I think I told you a little bit about that. We have about 16 members now. And there was one gentleman who came to our dojo last week and said he would like to join. But he said he doesn't even have a smartphone. he's probably in his 70s, maybe, and he only has a cell phone, doesn't have a smartphone, so he doesn't have the texting app line we often use in Japan. So I was sending him an email about all the stuff that's necessary, all the paperwork and everything that's necessary to join the dojo. But he hasn't replied, so I'm not too sure if he changed his mind or not. But there are already 3 people who have reached out to me telling me that they would love to come and see the training this month during July. So if all of these people join, it's going to be 20 people. Now, to be honest, until now, I would say about 70% of the people who came to join our training at least once have joined a dojo. About 30% of people were like, maybe someday, and they didn't join. So it's not a 100% chance, but we're very, very close to the 20 people goal. So I'm very excited. Like I've been explaining here on Beyond the Dojo. Once we have 20 people, I'm really excited that I'll be visiting other cities in Japan and holding some maybe like monthly seminars kind of thing, checking how many people will be interested in that area. If there's an area that I can really find a lot of people who are interested, I'm really hoping to start a branch there too. Everything is really moving quite a lot faster than I expected. Now I've been putting a lot of my resources into making content for the Kyoto Dojo in-person training. So I'm really hoping that at some point I can switch a little bit more to making more content on the Budo Baka, and I can have more people training my online lessons too. So the online lesson members the number of people who are taking my online lessons have hardly changed for like the past 2-3 months now. The in-person training, 2 months ago, I think we didn't even have 10 people yet. So in this last 2 months, we grew very rapidly. But I haven't been able to make so much content about my online lessons yet. So I'm really hoping that I can get there as soon as possible. But if you are a fan of Let's Ask Seki Sensei, you probably noticed, no, I have not been able to post any videos for the past 3 weeks. So it's been a struggle for me trying to basically balance. Right now, by YouTube channels, there's 4. Instagram accounts, I run 2. And I now go to training 9 hours a week of me actually physically moving around and explaining the techniques to the members of the Kyoto Dojo or my online lesson members. And of course, we still have the online lessons with the senseis and the in-person training and the summer heat and everything, so, and of course I still have my 3 kids and everything. So yeah, I'm like, I really wish I had 2 or 3 more of myself so I can try to do as much as possible. But unfortunately, there's only one Shogo. There's only one Shogo Yamaguchi, so I'll have to try to find out a good way to balance things. But I am making a lot of full videos, longer videos on the Kyoto Dojo YouTube channel right now, but there isn't going to be that many, to be honest. Once I get to a certain point, I'm sure I'll run out of videos to make. So hopefully once it goes to a certain point, I can go back to making more videos on Let's Ask Seki Sensei on my English YouTube channel, the Budo Baka. Especially the Budo Baka, I haven't been able to make any proper content yet. So I'm really hoping that I can do that very soon. Anyhow, everything has been really, really good. I've been really enjoying it, especially because I can keep myself busy. I talked a little bit about this before, but if you've been, following my content and stuff like that, I'm sure you know a lot about me already, but I like keeping myself busy, I was talking about this with one of the Kyoto Dojo members, but a lot of people tell me that, Shogo, you need to rest, you got to take a break, go on a vacation, stuff like that, but I'm like, please don't tell me that, because I don't want to. There's a book in Japan that got really popular talking about HSP, highly sensitive people or person or something. And I am someone who really overreacts to what other people think of me, what other people are doing, stuff like that, which in a way my tea ceremony sensei told me that's one of the basic technique skills that a tea ceremony practitioner must have. So she said that please be proud that you can do that naturally. Some people can't learn to do that for their whole lives, But anyways, I'm that kind of person. I tend to overthink about what other people are thinking, reacting to what I say and stuff like that. So I get very exhausted when I think too much. But when I'm busy and when I get exhausted, I don't have time to think, right? So that makes me a workaholic, But it's to be honest, I'm 30, I'm turning 32 very, very soon this month, And living for more than 30 years now, 3 decades now, I know myself a lot more, and I have done a lot of experiments, trying to rest a lot more, stuff like that. But I found out that when I'm busier, I'm much more healthier. Yeah, so I'm really happy that I'm constantly having things to do right now, and I still have hundreds and hundreds of ideas inside my head that I would love to do at some point in the future. So I'm super healthy right now. I think you guys have probably not heard me saying that I'm not very healthy recently, especially if you've been taking my online lessons or, Seki Sensei, Sensei, Sensei's online lessons at the beginning of the class when the senseis haven't entered the Zoom call yet. I often talk like, oh, guys, I'm so sorry, I actually have a headache, I have a throat ache or stuff like that, bad throw or stuff like that. But recently, I'm sure, thinking back about it, I'm sure you've probably have not heard me talk about that for a while now. Yeah, and the reason is because I'm busy. It might sound crazy, but that's how I work. So, but anyways, guys, speaking about the Kyoto Dojo and making content about the Kyoto Dojo, in the last episode, I talked a little bit about my opinions toward people who have been writing in the comments saying that training Budo nowadays is meaningless. And I explained all my opinions, and thank you so much for all of your comments. I was very embarrassed to find out that the thumbnail of the previous episode had waste of time written on it, and the waste was not, a waste of time, that kind of waste, like garbage kind of waste, but it was waste like your hip, My wife, Harumi, I'm sure if you've been watching Ask Shogo and my other channels, I'm sure you know about my wife, Harumi, but she makes the thumbnails and everything. And of course, I check it. Yeah, it's not her fault. Yeah, I write down, like, this is going to be the thumbnail. Please have this design. And she makes it, okay, waste of time. All right, let me write it down. I'm like, okay, it's perfect. Let's put it up there. Let's upload it. You can tell keeping myself busy is a way for me to stay healthy, but at the same time, I am probably not very, what should I say, completely have all of my tiredness out of me all the time. Yeah, if that makes sense. But I'm very sorry to confuse everyone with that. Yeah, don't worry. I think there was a few people who were like really seriously writing in the comments like, Shogo, there's a difference between waste, like in garbage, and waste by meaning of hip. I'm like, don't worry, I know. I'm so sorry. I run a business, I have 3 kids and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes my brain is not working. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so about that, a little bit more. There's a second thing that a lot of people have been writing in my comments that I want to share with you guys today. So number one was, it's meaningless to train Budo nowadays. And the second thing is, the techniques that I share, or maybe Seki Sensei shares on YouTube too, unless that's Seki Sensei, is not realistic. Yeah. I think every content creator who makes content about martial arts, or for example, YouTubers who are HEMA practitioners talking about historical swordsmanship would always get these kind of comments saying that, oh, the techniques you're sharing here are unrealistic. It won't work on the streets. I have my pew-pews, so it's not going to work anymore. All that kind of stuff, And in Japan, of course, no one talks about, oh well, I have my gun, so I could just shoot you, because in Japan, owning guns are illegal, so no one would say that. But there are way too many people telling us in the comments that it's unrealistic, it won't work on the streets, kind of thing in the comments. And it's the same everywhere around the world. It's universal, guys. Some people tell me that, oh, the comments written in Japanese must be much more respectful, because Japanese people are respectful in general. The answer is absolutely no. Absolutely not. I would say about 40% of the comments that come to our YouTube channels, our Instagram page and everything are very rude. They don't use any honorifics whatsoever, which I think is very weird. I would not dare, even if it's a comment, no one sees my face, but I wouldn't even dare to write a sentence to someone who I don't even know, have never even met before, who is introducing or sharing their profession, and going up to them and talking to them like a friend or like a family member. I personally I couldn't do it. Even if someone told me to do it, I couldn't do it probably. But there are a lot of people who are very rude. So I only have a couple of minutes left. So about these comments, okay? I mean, you guys are on my, you guys are, I should say, would understand, or I'm sure many of you are training in Budo. So, what should I say? First of all, unrealistic or not. Number one, what's considered realistic or not is very different from what people think of today and what people had in the past. Okay, so a lot of techniques that we train in Asayama Ichiden-ryu, Asayama Ichiden-ryu was born 400 years ago and survived through the Edo period and to now, right? So the realistic for the samurais in the past and for us today are very different. So, for example, there are a lot of gestures in our katas and our techniques where it's created under the assumption that you're wearing certain types of clothing by higher-ranking samurais, for example, certain environments, houses that we don't live in anymore, for example. So a lot of the things that looks unrealistic now was realistic in the past. That was the techniques and skills that the samurais back at that time needed because that's the type of building they were living in. That was the type of clothes that they wore. That's the type of social, class that they had. Obligations, all that kind of stuff, skills they had to train. So back at that time, yes, it was realistic and it was necessary. That's the reason why they did it. That's the reason why it's carried down today. If it was meaningless, it was completely unrealistic. It was completely, a waste of time. Why would anyone carry it down till today? Right? So that's number one. Yeah. Number two, if we're going to be talking about fighting in the streets and comparing it with Budo, there's one really important thing that I think a lot of people should know about. The famous Miyamoto Musashi. In the Book of Five Rings, I'm sure many of you are fans of the Book of Five Rings too, but in the Book of Earth, I don't know if that's the way you call it in English, but in Japanese we call it the Chinomaki, which means the Book of Earth. So that's the first one, right? In Volume 1, in the first part of that, Musashi has written that from his early 10s to his 20s, he has won 60 duels, serious duels, of course, life or death kind of duels, and he won all of them. But when you look back at his life in his 30s, he felt that he had not understood what Hyoho, which is the art of war, at all. And then he said, he wrote in the Book of Five Rings that he felt that the point where he truly understood what Hyoho, Asayama Ichiden-ryu Hyoho, Hyoho means the art of war, is when he turned 50. Okay? Now, what is he trying to say here, right? He won 60 duels. And he said that he did not know anything about Hyoho, about Bujutsu, when he was in his 20s, but he won those 60 duels. Why did he think that he finally understood it in his 50s? My understanding of what Budo is that Budo is math. Okay? It's physics. Okay? It's psychology. Okay? It's all of these things. It's a art. It's science, I would say. So when it comes to an actual fight, let's say whatever, on the streets, they would say maybe, there's too much luck into that, okay? Depending on how you're feeling, the opponent is feeling, the ground, the environment, what you have in your hands, what they have with them at that moment. This is all up to luck. So Miyamoto Musashi said in the Book of Five Rings, the beginning of the Book of Earth, he said that I did win 60 duels, but it's all because I was just a little bit talented, maybe a little bit lucky, or the opponent who I was fighting happened to be weak. Okay? But through all of the another few decades that he did, he seeked what true Hyoho, what true Bujutsu was about. And when he reached the point where he created the two Ryuha styles that he created, Niden Ichiju and Enmenryu, he basically found the logics, the equations to win. So that's exactly what we're trying to learn through katas and Budo, right? So it's not about luck. If you hold your katana at this angle, move it like this, when they do this, this is going to happen, this is what they're going to feel, and this is where you get to cut if you move this way. It's an equation. So these genius samurai warlords, swordsmen in the past, basically through all their experience of actually fighting with people, they tried to find and seek these methods that they can carry down to the next generation. And you wouldn't have to be Miyamoto Musashi to be able to fight the way that he has found out works. Does this make sense? Yeah. So telling someone that the techniques you're training in right now doesn't work, it's not realistic. Number one, again, about history and culture, again, it was realistic in the past, that's the first thing. And number two, if you want to watch a street fight, go somewhere and do that. Us Budo trainees, what we're trying to do is what Miyamoto Musashi did for us, for example, yeah, I'm not doing kenjutsu, I'm not doing invaluable, but all of the headmasters, of every Ryuha style were basically, they did the same thing. They walked the same path, It was probably the same for Asayama Ichiden-ryu Hyoho too. They found all of these ways to carry down what they have found in a way that the next generation can also learn. Yeah, no one is Asayama Ichiden-ryu, the founder of Asayama Ichiden-ryu Hyoho. There's only one man that was Asayama Ichiden-ryu. But we can all learn his techniques, and that's because he found these equations for us, and we are learning that. Okay? So, whether you can actually go out on the streets or whatever and fight someone and win or not has nothing to do with what we train in Budo. Or nothing to do might be a little bit too much. Maybe it has a little bit, of course, but it has. Seki Sensei has explained to me about this before, but please, there was someone who actually went out in a duel. This is, a recent story, basically. But there was someone who trained in Asayama Ichiden-ryu before. He was, of course, kicked out of the school years ago. Yeah, but he got into a fight with someone, and he was like, "I'm representing Asayama Ichiden-ryu," so he got kicked out of the Ryuha. But yeah, so each individual being able to actually fight, someone somewhere, yeah, is very different from what we're trying to learn in Budo. Yeah. So I think that these are the points that we all need to understand. Okay? It's like learning music, these very old pieces of music and being able to perform and recreate the music that was created by Beethoven, all these geniuses, and being able to go out on the streets and just play music randomly there and making people, happy, whoever's walking down the streets, is a very different form of art. Those require very different skills, right? Yeah, being able to make a masterpiece, very gorgeous, luxurious cuisine at a 5-star restaurant, yeah, and being able to walk into someone's house and dig into the refrigerator and be able to make supper for a family is a very different skill, right? So I feel that I really hope that a lot more people understand this. We're standing in a completely different field, and we're talking. So I personally feel it's really like people who do street performances going to professional musicians like violinists, pianists, or stuff like that, and going up to them and you're like, you guys don't play on the streets, you guys don't know real music. From my point of view, it sounds like that. Of course, professional pianists, professional violinists would probably be able to go outside and be able to immediately create music on their own. They probably could. And a true Budoka probably does have to be able to do that ultimately. That's the reason why we do train with soft bamboo swords too in Asayama Ichiden-ryu Hyoho, right? But is that the main thing we should be doing? Is that the thing that all of our Budo practitioners, like our younger ones, the people who want to just learn the equations, should all these people be forced to, smack each other with sticks? The answer is absolutely no. Yeah, because that's not the goal of what Budo is trying to seek. I'm really not sure if I got to a conclusion here, but if you feel like I'm missing something, please do add anything you'd like to add in the comments, guys. And I've been talking so much that I only have 2 minutes before the class, and the Embu is going to be starting in 2 minutes, so I hope you guys can look forward to the archive that will be uploaded very soon on my channel. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye-bye.